Welcome to
House of Whimsical Terror.
I'm Esther.
I'm Mary.
And we are speaking to you from Tucson, Arizona.
And we are telling real stories of the fantastical.
And all of our stories are true or told to us as true.
Occasionally we do alter the names to protect privacy.
Today's story is, I'm gonna call it Walter.
Yeah, and today's story is another haunted house. Another haunted house because it's Halloween month. Our favorite month,
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So we are going to talk about a haunted house, but first we're going to talk a little bit about Tucson. So Tucson is a valley that is surrounded by mountain ranges on all sides. And archaeologists speculate that humans have been in this area for over 12,000 years. And it may be the oldest continuously occupied location in the United States.
I didn't know
or
that.
at least in the top 3.
That's
You didn't
cool.
know that?
I didn't.
No, I'm not. I don't even know if I knew that before I looked this up. But there is evidence I did know of Paleo-Indian settlements, the Hohokam, and they're farming communities, and they were here 4,000 years before the Spanish colonizers arrived in the 1600s, which the colonizers established the Presidio San Agustin and the Mission San Javier del Bac.
And you can still go visit both of those places.
Yes, you can. They're iconic and beautiful and worth a visit. Mystical folks, though, that live here in Tucson, of which there are many, probably throughout Arizona, but particularly in Tucson, they actually believe that because Tucson is shaped like a bowl with the 4 mountain ranges around it, that energy is actually held here. So when you have so many millennia of occupation, that's a lot of energy, right?
Yeah, it is.
It is. So all of that to say, you never know what the ground holds. Right? So today we're going to talk about a haunted house that we're actually currently sitting in.
Yes.
I live here. And we're also going to talk about, the reason we're talking about this is because there are weird auditory anomalies on our previous episodes.
Yeah, 2 of them had that weird shushing sound.
And seriously, we did everything we could to try and figure out, like, where did that come from? Did we create that? And we still don't know. We don't know what they are.
Can't figure it out.
No. So we thought, well, we'll talk a little bit about my house.
Yeah, and
in that
who
case.
or what might be causing it.
Right. And we'll see if anything shows up today. So my house is far from what you would picture as a haunted house.
True.
It's not old. It's not dark. It's not immediately creepy.
It's not.
No. But it definitely has had some unique goings on. So we're going to talk a little about that too. So when I bought this house, the first thing that I noticed is that it needed to be completely renovated.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, it did.
But that was okay because, you want your home to be your own. So I was good with it. So when I came to see the house, I went on a walk around it. And when I got to this small bedroom of the 2 bedrooms that it has, I was looking out the window into the backyard. And there was something in that room that was odd. It was like I wasn't the only one looking out the window. But someone else was too. Except I was the only one there.
Right.
Right? The energy, if you will, it felt heavy, kind of lonely, but very, very intense. And I stood there a minute, so I was like, wow, what is that? And then I bought the house anyway. Of course I did. So after it was renovated, I moved in. And in the first month that I lived here, I was on the phone with a friend of ours that lived in Phoenix. And I was laying on the bed. And I did not make the creepy smaller bedroom my bedroom. I made that the office. And so my bedroom is next to it. So earlier in the evening, I was in the office and I was at the desk. And I had been, in the creepy office room on my laptop at the desk. And when I was done, I turned off my laptop, but I left it open, right? And anyway, so now later in the day, I'm on the phone chatting with our friend in Phoenix. And then I see this really bright light burst forth from the doorway of my bedroom.
Oh, weird.
And it was coming from the small creepy room.
Mm-hmm.
So I told my friend, hold on. I'll be right back. And I went into the office and my computer was on.
So creepy.
I literally, I always turn my computer off, but I literally hard pressed turn off.
Right, right.
So I stood there and I looked at it and I turned it off again. And then I, went back to the phone. I told my friend how weird that was. And we laughed about it. And that was basically that. And that was within the first month of living here. Well, then my soon-to-be spouse moved in. And not much later, we noticed that there was a night light that we had put into the bathroom, which is a room next to the creepy office.
Mm-hmm.
And it would spontaneously, often around 3 a.m.,
Of course.
it would flicker
Okay.
enough to wake us up.
Okay.
So then over the years, we noticed quite a few electrical anomalies.
During the soul's midnight.
That's right. Well, and all other times of day sometimes.
Yeah, but the flickering.
Yeah, it was like the more comfortable I got, the more there was. So there would be things turning off and things turning on and things turning on and off periodically, whatever. Anyway, at some point, we were in Jerome, Arizona, which is
Super haunted.
super haunted.
You
And
do like ghost hunting there. It's
it's amazingly
it's
super
really
haunted.
scary.
And so my spouse and I were like, we're in Jerome, and we're going to do a podcast from Jerome
Oh, good.
later in the year,
I can't wait.
you and I. And we went there for the weekend, and there's a lot of shops there and a lot of crafts people there. And this one lady, she was selling these glass orbs that are really colorful, and they were called witch balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were supposed to trap negative energy. So we bought them, right? Of course. And then I hung them up from the ceiling in our family room because, well, witch balls, they're probably badass, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, a few months later, we had some folks over, and as we were chatting, one of the balls fell from the ceiling and shattered all over the floor.
Mm.
All right. And we all just froze. And then one of my friends, who also happens to be a paranormal investigator.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yes, and now also be a guest on the show
Yeah.
later. Well, she said maybe the string I used wasn't strong enough. So I let her know that they're actually hung with sinew that I'd gotten in Sedona. Because, this is Arizona. And when you got witch balls, you hang them with sinew because it's sturdy.
Right. Especially cords of yeah.
So anyway, I went over to clean it up, and the cord didn't break, right, Esther? Of course it didn't break. It actually untied itself. The knot was literally untied. So our friend that is the investigator was just like, okay, moving right along. So the other two balls never fell, but that one did. Next, I think it was the time that we woke up in the middle of the night because both of the table lamps on each side of the bed came on, and they came on high, even though there's a low, medium, high. They come on high. Usually you have to phase through 1, 2, 3. So anyway, both of the table lamps came on each side of the bed, and we just laid there for a minute and then said in unison, "That's weird."
That's really
And then we
weird.
turned them off.
Creepy.
So the weirdest thing about that is that each of those lamps on each side of the bed, they're not plugged in together. They're actually on separate circuits.
Mm-hmm, that's true.
And they don't have switches. They're touch controlled. So you can touch them with anything, a book, a piece of paper, it doesn't matter. They will not come on. But if you touch them with your hand, they will.
So a hand touched them at the same time.
At the same time.
That's
on each side of the bed.
freaky. Yeah.
I don't know. But that's
We
another.
don't know. Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know how,
Who did it?
Yeah. So those are just some of the several electronic anomalies and weirdnesses that we have at our house. So sometimes sensitive people come over and they notice that, there's an odd energy in the small bedroom, and they, it also apparently likes my table lamps, and it turns them on. It turns on the touchless kitchen faucet with some regularity. And you've been here when that happens.
Yes.
Or
Yeah, it
it's
just goes on for no reason.
Yeah.
There's like, no, it's not fly weather, so
No,
nothing landed on it. Just bam.
just bam. Then the kitchen faucet is on.
It's weird.
So I think the last couple of things about the house is I want to talk a little bit about other people's experiences at the house, because I think that's important. It's not just me and Esther and Kayla. It's like whoever. So one time I had a surgery, and a friend at the time came and stayed over with me, and they came from another state. So they hadn't spent a lot of time in the house, and she stayed in the office, which now doubled as a guest room, because that's fun with the creepy little room. Anyway, a few days into her stay, we were chatting about this and that, and she stops chatting, and she looks at me and she says, "Did you know you have a male ghost in your guest room?"
Ooh. She felt Walter.
And I said, "I was hoping you wouldn't notice." And I just kept chatting about other things because I didn't really want to talk about it, but because she did notice. And I just call him Walter. Yeah. Because that was the name of the elderly man that I brought the house from, who was quite sickly. So Walter and I have an agreement that I don't want to see him, and he can have his way with my electronics. Yes, he can. Apparently my friend that came to visit didn't, have the same agreement with him, but she did describe seeing him in that same area of that room where I often sense him, and where I sensed him the first time I came here. So I thought that was significant, because eventually, years later, I don't know why it took so long, we finally had the paranormal friends come and do an investigation. So one weekend we were out of town. And so they set up, cameras and sensors and microphones. And they did not have any auditory anomalies, but they showed a video clip to us. It's a video clip of the location where Walter hangs out, which is in front of the white doors of my closet. So you see the white door, and then you see a black dot that appears. It doesn't fly in. It doesn't come from a different angle. It just appears in the screen. It's maybe a couple inches in diameter. And then it elongates to 4 inches on two sides, like a pointed star, but vertical. And then it shrinks down, and then it zips out.
Yep, I've seen it.
Completely.
It's bizarre.
Out of the frame.
Terrifying.
Yeah. So I think, there's that remarkable piece of video. Still we don't know. They don't know what that was. It wasn't a fly. It wasn't a bug. They tried a bunch of stuff to try and debunk it. It wasn't anything they put in front of the lens. So I guess that leads me to, I'm going to call it Walter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, there you have it. And there are plenty more stories. But I guess ultimately we don't know what those sounds were in our other episodes, but I'm going to call it Walter.
Awesome. I agree. Because what else? It's very strange. I have had weird feelings, when I've been here, when you've been away, and I'm babysitting the Dobermans. And it's in the shower right next to the creepy small room. I will drive home and shower and come back and watch the doggies, because I feel like some creepy thing is in there with me. Yeah. It's really terrifying.
Yeah. And certainly, there's doggy stuff too, but we don't have time for all that.
Yeah. We'll catch up with everything at some point. Yeah. You'll hear all of our stories, beloved listeners. Yeah. So that's our today's. And
we hope that you will come back and listen to more stories and
follow us.
Because we're going to post new stories. Sometimes often, sometimes with a day or two apart. Who knows?
Yeah, we're going to try to.
We have commitment issues and we don't have schedule.
Yeah, we're those people that don't stay on schedule.
No.
But it is October, so you'll probably get quite a few episodes coming out this month.
I think so. Some from Tucson, some maybe from other places. Definitely one or two more haunted houses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. We'll do my haunted house
that's
at some point.
yes, maybe next. So thank you again, and please do follow us. Turn your friends on to our podcast, and thank you so much.
Thank you for coming to the house.